This fucks up my plan. This is fucking bullshit. Okay? These fucking assholes, these fucking assholes! The fuck is their problem, man? This is fucking typical bullshit!
I watch these women start having orgasms when they talk about killing babies. We're gonna play video of women like literally rub their legs. Look, these people want to rape babies, okay? I mean, it's real simple. They love Satan. They want to kill babies. They told me this to my face.
I'll keep your eyes on the road, you have upon the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, you have upon the wheel. Yeah, we're going to the roadhouse, gonna have a good time.
If you're that fucking stupid, knock yourself out. And not go to jail. Go to federal prison. Go to fucking federal prison. Federal fucking prison.
They should complain about the children being F-wheel. God. I'm showing you. You think I like seeing this crap? You think it doesn't piss me off?
Think that they're helping people. And then winning is winning, making it so that tech companies have even higher valuations. Is that winning? It's the valuation of Netflix. I figured it out. That's why we're not winning, is because Netflix stock isn't high enough. That's the only way to win. I want to kill my neighbors and burn them alive and blow up my car, but it's okay because Netflix is worth $3 trillion. I want to cut my cock off and scramble my brain with fucking fluoride. I'm gonna win because Netflix is worth $3 trillion. I can't believe the dollars are this high. I can't believe we're winning this much. The dollars are this high. We have such good drones and spying technology. We're winning. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard.
The question is, who is Michelle Obama? Is she really a woman? Is she a man? Every time I look at Michelle or Michael Obama, the first lady or the first tranny, every time I look at them, something doesn't look right. She doesn't look like any black woman or any woman I've ever known. She's got shoulders that are wider than a man's, which physiologically doesn't happen. Again, you can put 3 heads on a man's shoulders and only 2 heads on a woman's shoulders. That's a known anatomy. And then women generally have wider hips than men do. You look at her arms and the rest of it, when she's standing straight on, she looks like no woman I have ever seen.
Everybody just yells and screams at each other. Nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy. You think men like Thomas Wayne ever think what it's like to be someone like me? To be somebody but themselves? They don't. They think that we'll just sit there and take it like good little boys, that we won't werewolf and go wild.
She looks more like Shaquille O'Neal than a black woman. And she looks like an NBA center.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Going Postal. We are locked and loaded with the facts. No opinions here, nothing but the facts on this channel. That's all we ever talk about, is just factual information.
It's 2025 and we have the facts. Well, welcome to the Great Leap Forward, ladies and gentlemen.
We're talking about the legal system today, and we're talking about how bogus it is, really. If we didn't give it so much power over us, then they wouldn't be controlling us. But so many people all around us are not willing to fight against the machine. They're just willing to be a part of the machine, and that's the problem.
We're not talking about the legal system more. We're talking about them having you by the short and curlies. Just in day-to-day life. You wake up and you got shackles on your feet that you don't even know about. You haven't even discovered them yet. But we're going to talk a little bit about natural law. We're going to talk about how again, they have you by the balls. It's game over. It's game over for you and me.
Natural law is something that I didn't really comprehend before looking into this topic. Everyone understands that the natural law, everyone understands the difference between right and wrong, but I didn't really understand how much that they were using the legal system to turn me into a slave, turn all of us into slaves.
It's just shit that some dude wrote down on a piece of paper, man.
And then right whenever we're born into this world, we have to register to a corporation right at birth. And then this legal system shapes us, and we're no longer born into natural law. The natural law in this world has been hijacked by government entities. We're born into the legal system.
They're poking you full of holes as soon as you plop out of your mom's vagina. I mean, come on now, people. What's going on? We can't fully describe it. You don't know exactly what it is, but you just know what it is it's sick and it's wrong. And that has a name. It's the golden rule. It's natural law.
The best way I can explain natural law is just the law that we are all born into. Every man or woman is created equal in God's eyes, and we all inherently know the difference between right and wrong. That's why natural law doesn't need to be taught in colleges, because everyone knows that you shouldn't steal or kill. Everyone knows these things, but what does, however, take years of hard work and studying is to pass the bar and get your legal certification. That's because the legal system today is unnatural. You have to study all the legalese or the actual definitions of words in order to become a lawyer, and it's not just inside you because it's part of their system. It's made up by them.
Just shit people wrote down on paper, man. The legal system's fucked up. I mean, who knows how many times just some dude just trying to see his kids has been screwed over just for no reason, for nothing. We're talking about the low end of the system here, people. They'll use the law any way against you. If you're actually against the fat cats, it's game over for you. They'll debank you. They'll take you out. They'll accuse you of having child pornography on your laptops.
And everyone knows that the legal system isn't actually going to fight against the rich. If you have enough money, you can get out of any charge. You can get bail, you can drag on the trial forever. You can just get out of it scot-free completely if you have the right lawyers. We know everyone, all the 99%, we're all going to get fucked by the legal system, but the 1%, they don't have to face any consequences for their actions. They can destroy the lives of millions and face no repercussions.
This is where Juice WRLD fucked up. He shouldn't have taken all those drugs. He would have been scot-free. I mean, he had the cash for it. Plead the 5th and the 6th. You're walking.
Why would he ever need to transport that much drugs on a plane whenever you're already that rich? Like,
listen, we're not... The man wasn't Einstein. But, I mean, come on now, people. If you got money in the bank, if you got that much money in the bank, at least take her to court. At least before you fucking take that many perkies, take it to court.
He was going to his hometown in Chicago, and he did have, like, fucking just pounds on pounds of weed, and he could have just been going home and smoking up all his boys now that he got money. He could have just not actually been selling all that for profit, but it was so much that it almost had to have been for profit, because it would have him and his boys would have had to have been smoking 5-gallon buckets at a time. Like, each bowl had to have been a 5-gallon bucket type shit.
The amount of perkies he swallowed was ridiculous. It's an insane amount. He took, like, the amount it would kill a fucking elephant. Who knows what happened? It was an assassination plot by some I'm not gonna say, some media mogul.
Some executives.
Take it easy.
Some executives at a music company.
Some executives at a music company that Kanye would not be happy to meet.
Speaking of Kanye, shout out to our boy, our Lord and Savior. They're doing him so dirty in the media. I wonder why the media is doing him dirty. It's almost like they're owned by a group that he's criticizing.
I mean, how how could his bank accounts be taken away? I mean, how can he be banned from having his money? Who would be able to do that? But that's neither here nor there. Natural law, folks, this is more than just Dylan's rant on hating the legal system. This is, you've heard it as the golden rule. This is just part of natural life that everything knows what to do. The flower opens up perfectly every time, in a way that nobody can understand how it does. The trees separate themselves in the canopies so they can all get an even distribution of sunlight. These things make no sense, but it's a natural law. It just happens. It just happens.
And then the unnatural version of the law is the legal system, or they also, in the legal system, they use the term legalese, and that is the legitimate definition of words that you use every day. But it goes into much more detail than your average dictionary, and it's often much more complex. Legalese uses very long sentences and technical jargon that just makes it hard for someone who hasn't passed the bar to understand. And because you don't understand, then that gets you to agree to do things that you wouldn't have done otherwise. They hide the meaning of what you're doing with legalese, so whenever you register something, you think it's completely harmless because that's what you've been taught. You hear this word register all the time, but who actually knows what that means? I for real didn't understand what that, like the actual definition of register until like a year ago, and it fucked me up. It rocked my shit, to be honest.
Are you gonna say it for the kind people? I want to hear what your definition of register is.
So to register something just means to officially record it, like on the ledger, to record it in history. And that sounds simple, right? But here's where the catch is.
Okay, I like this.
It's whenever you register something, you're handing over your ownership to a higher authority, like a corporation or a government, and you're not keeping it. You're transferring control. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but here's an example if you don't believe me. Whenever you're born, your parents register your birth. That sounds harmless, but what they're really doing is entering you into a system, basically creating a legal identity tied to a corporation. They're creating a tie between your person and their multi-trillion-dollar corporation.
You're signing the social contract.
Right. And do you ever wonder why your name is always in all caps on government documents? That's not you, that's your legal entity, your corporate personhood. Just like you have rights, corporations in America have the exact same rights as you do. They can sue and be sued and are treated as a quote-unquote legal person, the same as me or you. And I did not understand that at all. They ruled in 2010 in a Supreme Court hearing that all corporations have the exact same rights as a person does. So basically, in the eyes of the legal system, you are a corporation. You are a legal entity. And that's what's happening whenever you create a birth certificate.
I mean, you know what life is all about, Dylan. It's about getting a paycheck and keeping a handgun out of your mouth. And, I mean, you just summed it up right there. They have you by the balls. Again, folks.
And it's not just about registering people, even though that is pretty fucked up. It's about everything. Whenever you buy a piece of software, whether it's for your computer or for your phone, you think, I just bought it. It's mine. But no, you actually don't own that software. You register it back to the company, and then they give you a license to use it. You don't actually own that. You just have a license to use it. That's not ownership.
It's with everything, Dylan. It's not just your person. It's with everything. Everything you own, even if you have a piece of your own land. I'm using your own land in quotation here, folks. If you're not paying your taxes, if you're not doing what they want you to do, it's not yours anymore. It's going to get taken from you. That's why it's so important the Second Amendment exists. Little Second Amendment support here.
It's so crazy that I don't want to get off topic here, but it's so crazy that people in the United States don't support the Second Amendment and actually want 50% of this fucking country wants people's guns to be taken away.
They look at Britain and they look at Canada and they don't. It's not a hellscape to them, I guess. I don't understand.
But whenever you register your kids whenever they're born, and then you register your car whenever you buy it, and not just the land, but even your house. It's not really yours whenever you think about it. You're registering it to the state, and in return, they let you use it.
And just out of the virtue of you having it, you're going to have to pay property tax on that. Just because you own this, just by virtue of you having it, and you're staying in a place that we say this is this state, and this is the property tax here. Could be different 50 miles north, could be different 50 miles south.
And the government doesn't care at all how much you paid for this land, this house. You could have spent your entire life savings. You could have worked your whole life just to acquire this nice little piece of land, live out on the prairie, enjoy your days. And if you don't pay your property taxes, they will take it from you and you will be left with nothing. Absolutely nothing. You worked your whole life for nothing just because this corporation can do what they want, because so many around us are not fighting back against the tyranny that is going on around us.
It's because it's not yours, Dylan. You're borrowing it from them.
It's so crazy whenever you hear this, because it changes how you look at every interaction you've had with the government almost. It changes your interaction with the items that you thought you once owned. You realize that it's not actually owned by you.
Whenever they say you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, this is the last stage of the Great Leap Forward, people. This is the last thing that they need to pull off, is to get you to accept this. They've already pulled everything off. You're already in the shit. This is the last thing that you have to stand up for.
And once you're in the system, just by being a willing participant, then they can just impose rules, fees, or licenses whenever they want, and just change the laws that they have in place, because you're already in the system. You can't do anything else about it. They can just keep increasing property taxes, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The longer the U.S. government has been around, the more and more licenses there are. You have to be a licensed hairstylist nowadays. I understand with truckers and people using heavy machinery, but come on now, folks. A licensed hairstylist. Take it easy.
And you don't really understand what you're doing whenever you sign your name on that piece of paper. It just is one little signature, and you don't realize you're giving away complete ownership of something.
You got to work for years just to get a little piece of paper saying that you're qualified to do this. Just a certification, something that you probably could have gotten in 6 months. No, you have to be here for this allotted time, for this exact however many papers that you need to sign. They're going to try to take you for everything you've got, just for this certification.
And they're going to keep increasing taxes. There's nothing about decreasing taxes at all. Trump will say that he's going to eliminate the federal tax, the income tax, but we know that's not going to happen. They never decrease taxes at all. They only increase more and more. I'll believe it when it happens. If he actually does it, then yeah, yippee. But I see almost a 0% chance of that happening.
Dylan's in a major doomer mode over T-Dog right now. I can't accept it yet. He hasn't gotten into office yet. I'm praying for lower taxes, Dylan. I'm praying for less price at the pump. Just hope with me, okay?
Unless what I'm seeing is pure propaganda. I read that he said that he's going to eliminate the federal income tax. Did he actually say that? Because I never saw him say that himself.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Eliminate the federal income tax.
He said he was going to eliminate federal income tax for all U.S. citizens.
Well, I don't know how he's going to pull that one off. The man makes a lot of outrageous claims. But not getting taxed on tips, that's pretty cool, and that's actually that's feasible. Not getting taxed on overtime, that's feasible. I don't know anything about taking away the federal income.
I for sure think they could take away the federal income tax and be completely fine. I know that they would have to decrease spending a lot. I thought this is what the whole point of Doge was so they could decrease or eliminate the federal income tax. But
the amount of people that work in the U.S. government it's criminal. I mean, they're going to have to fire so many people. That'll be the start, is getting rid of some of the corruption. Rooting out all the corruption is going to be the hardest part, and it's going to be a long process. It's not going to be a 2-year process. T-Dog's just kicking this off, I feel like. I mean, this is like a desperate attempt.
He said he was going to drain the swamp in his first term, though, and we saw how that ended.
The only reason why I'm hopeful here, folks, is it's not Washington insiders in his cabinet anymore. It's people that you've heard of. It's Tulsi Gabbard as the the fucking, what is it, the Homeland Security bitch? Who knows? It doesn't matter. She's security something. RFK in the health department. I mean, we got good people going in there. People that we've actually heard of.
That is one thing about this term that I'm way more hopeful for. He had so many bad people that he appointed on his first term that were just government insiders, like people who were just disgusting people straight
Dude,
up.
it was like The Apprentice. He was firing people left and right. It was ridiculous.
And now this time he has people that we've seen their backgrounds and we know that they're going to be better people, so that does make me a little bit less tiny hat pilled than
And
I
listen,
am.
Dylan, as negative as some of the things look, as bad as some of the things look, at least we got RFK in there.
That is true. I'm very glad about that, and hopefully it does make changes towards the V word that we're not allowed to say, because every time we say the V word or the negative side effects of it, we get...
We have him as our champion. We don't even need to say anything anymore. You've heard all the stories. You've heard us ramble.
And RFK eating the McDonald's on the plane was a setup. It was a setup by the media.
Yeah, like you haven't eaten McDonald's, dude. Everybody acts like they're perfect. Oh, look at him. He's eating McDonald's. Have you not eaten fast food whenever you're out and about?
That was not a big deal to me at all, but the media really tried to make that into a big deal.
Dude, I'm not even going to say the words that they are. There's no need for me to even go there.
We're not going to say what type of doctor it was.
All I do know is we need to be positive. You need to be more positive.
I'm trying my best. It's
That's
just...
cap. You are not. He's not been trying his best, folks.
Well,
Every time I come over here, it's always some new fret about the T-Dog.
Every time I look in one direction, I just see that I've been lied to my entire life, and I'm trying to stay positive whenever I just...
You better get used to it, pal.
Every single direction I look, I see government corruption, people lying to me, people changing history, and I'm just like, what the fuck's even going on anymore?
The man's out of the fucking loop, folks. He's been brain blasted. You're Jimmy Neutron right now.
I at least have not watched mainstream media in a very long time, but almost worse what I'm doing now, just going down a schizo rabbit hole of just like every conspiracy I can find.
It's arguably worse what he's doing right now, folks.
It might just be better to just be like, all right, CNN's pretty chill. I'm just going to live my life and just watch CNN and die.
I love Fox News. I love Fox News.
But I literally watch...
That's because you listen to the most schizo people. You don't help yourself also. You go hard on these things. The radiation episode was insane. It was an insane episode. Are you still on the radiation shit?
I mean, I don't believe in nuclear bombs still, to this day. I believe that whenever they tested nuclear bombs, it was megatons of TNT that they were saying that they had a nuclear bomb so they can use it as a scare tactic and to try to push us away from nuclear energy, which is the best form of energy. Each town, I believe, could have their own nuclear reactor and we could have free energy or close to free energy. Each city could have one, and I believe that the scare tactics involving radiation and uranium are completely fabricated to push a narrative.
It's to stop you from getting free energy, folks.
If each town had their own nuclear reactor, our electricity bill would be almost nothing. And we don't do that because of the scare involving uranium. But I've watched people eat uranium and live long, healthy lives.
He's watched them eat it.
I mean, the dude that I was watching who was involved in the Manhattan
Don't worry, you showed me this. You showed me the man.
He was involved. I don't want to turn this into the nuclear radiation episode, but he was involved in the Manhattan Project. He was so confident in what he said that he was willing to eat uranium during his presentations, and he still lived a long, happy life. I find that very convincing evidence to point me towards nuclear bombs not being real. And also, if you look into the damages involved in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, it is nowhere near the scale they said it was. They said that shadows were just being left. People were just disappearing into shadows and just devastation. And people won't be able to live there for millions and trillions of years. But then they just go back to like everything's fine. 10 days later, start moving in and rebuilding, and these people don't have negative side effects from it, from living in the area that's
Dude,
supposedly contaminated.
I don't know if they weren't having negative side effects, Dylan. I'm sure there's some negative side effects.
The only people that had negative side effects were people that were exposed to mustard gas during the bombings, and that's where you get fucking all that shit coming from. They were exposed to chemicals and not radiation.
Dylan, what made the fucking rivers boil so hot that whenever people were jumping into them, they were boiling alive?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The shit from the survivors, the people that were there after the bomb dropped, the Japanese people after the bomb dropped, their accounts of it.
From the accounts that I've seen, I've not seen anything about people jumping into rivers boiling alive, but I don't know. And their accounts seem to point towards any other bombing that happened in any other city. It's fire bombs. Giant bombs were dropped on people all over Japan, but I did not see anything pointing towards something other than mustard gas being dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let me point it this way. What is the proof besides the people boiling in rivers? What is the proof that there was a nuke dropped on Hiroshima or Nagasaki?
I mean, Dylan, you can watch the experiment videos. Like, have you not seen the one in SpongeBob whenever Plankton pulls apart the atom? Have you not seen that one? The nuclear test? Come on now, dude.
Nice.
Come on now, dude.
All right.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't know if those poor fuckers got mustard gassed and firebombed. Hopefully, I don't know. Even hopefully they just got nuclear. They instantly got annihilated.
From the accounts that I've seen, they got.
Listen, folks, this isn't the nuclear. Just disregard this. Disregard this whole part of the episode.
I think we should just move to a different topic.
Disregard this.
Back into the natural law stuff, I guess. I think that whenever you submit an application to somebody, you are basically admitting that you are a beggar. This is the old English definition of application. You are admitting that you are a beggar, and it is presumed that you understand what you're giving up in order to receive what you are begging for. So, whenever you submit an application to something, you are...
It's indentured servitude.
Yeah,
but you can just leave at any time.
And
that's called a job.
people say that you can just say that you're a sovereign citizen and try to, because I mean technically you are. You're supposed to
This man's a sovereign citizen.
And the actual way we're supposed to live, we are supposed to just be able to say that we're sovereign citizens. But we've already lived in this society and lived in these rules for too long. So whenever people try to say they're a sovereign citizen and don't abide by these rules, they just get thrown in jail and get laughed at by everyone else. Whenever they actually are more informed than most, but no one else is willing to fight for these people against the tyranny because they can't even understand the tyranny that they're going against.
Those people also don't help themselves very much how they treat the officers.
Yeah.
Just hand over the license and registration, pal. Can you not go to the license office for 5 fucking minutes and get your driver's license? I get you've been enslaved, but there's worse things happening to you every day than having to get a license and insurance.
We use the car and the registration as an example, but we should probably get our car's license for accidents and shit. Like, it makes sense, but you just need to use that as an example to show how you're being treated by your own government. And the government is not treating you as... They're not serving you. The government is supposed to be serving you and being a middleman between private parties. If you and another person are having a disagreement, then the government can be there to help settle that disagreement. But the government has just clearly abused their power so much that they just spit on you whenever they look at you.
They call themselves civil servants.
And they're not serving you at all. They will throw you in jail for having... In half the states still, they'll throw you in jail for having a fucking weed card on you. Like, they'll throw you in jail for years. They'll treat it as a felony.
No marijuana for you, boy. You can't have it.
And it's not just that. It's just so many ways that the legal system is used to unfairly treat just fathers, hardworking men out there, hardworking women.
Let's be honest, people. Blue collar work it's off drugs. It's all ran off of drugs. Yeah, you've never shown up. I've never shown up to any site doing any sort of landscaping, and there's not somebody there sneaking a rip off the cart. There's not somebody there that has a Corona in the back of their truck bed that they take a sip off of every now and again. There's not some dude with a crack pipe inside the porta potty. This isn't a real picture, folks. We have to have drugs if we're going to build things. If we're going to get this country going, we have to have drugs.
The most insane shit I've seen from a coworker the other day was him pulling up to me to come help pick up some mail, smoking a joint. Literally smoking a joint at the wheel of his mail truck, like walked up to me with it hanging out of his mouth. And I thought, dude, this is a new transfer. He came in from a different office, so he's like coming into a new office. He's only been here like a month or so with that type of energy. That is just insane to me to like just think that I won't snitch on him. I've literally hardly even talked to this dude, and he walked up to me with a joint in his mouth.
What, are you going to fire the best worker?
I'm not saying that.
Bet that man's putting in 14-hour days if he's out there fucking riffing J's.
He was. I think the only reason he was even willing to do that is because he was on like his 11 and a half hour. Like he was so close to being done in 12 hours that he's just like, fuck it. I'm just not even going to give a fuck at all.
Raw dog it. See what happens.
At least I can just do it. Dude, you have so much time where I'm not seeing you throughout the day where you're off by yourself. Just smoke it by yourself. Why would you walk up to me with it in your mouth?
He wants you to smoke it with him.
I guess so.
But you treated him like some dirty whore.
I mean, I'm not judging. I mean, I am judging. I guess just by
You rip CBD carts. You have a little fucking respect for yourself. You don't rip THC at work.
I would never smoke weed in a mail truck.
That's government property.
For sure.
He's a strict CBD man in the mail truck, folks.
Now that I've quit nicotine, I just only smoke CBD. It just gets me going.
The man needs smoke coming out of his mouth somehow. It doesn't matter, but somehow it needs to happen.
The Lucy, is that what it's called? That was the biggest scam I've ever seen in my entire life. What you told me about it. I don't know if it was called Lucy or something else, but the air flavored hitting device, like you hit oxygen that's flavored.
It's not Lucy. Lucy is like a pouch sort of weird thing.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of that. That was the most insane shit I've ever seen. It makes sense if you're addicted to the hand to mouth, but I guarantee 95% of people that buy that just go right back to smoking nicotine. There's no way that actually works.
I can't attest to it working. I just know that you're a fiend for fucking... You have to have something in your hand, so I thought I would recommend it.
I can't see that working. I could give it a try, I guess, but I really cannot see that working.
I don't know. Maybe you get more enjoyment out of it than what you think. Maybe it has some good-ass flavors. Maybe you're just over there fucking ripping on your flavor stick, just having a good time.
The nicotine devices since last night was New Year's Eve and I saw everyone hitting nic devices, it made me think of this, that we should not even have this much access to nicotine, be able to hit it whenever we want. We have our pods on us at all times. It used to be like it would be a whole process. You'd have to roll up your cigarette, or you'd have to buy the cigarettes, and you'd have to smoke a whole cigarette, like get a lighter and shit. It used to be way more of a process, but now you're just constantly hitting this great flavored and great smelling nicotine device all throughout the day, and it has to fuck up your dopamine sensor so bad, and it makes...
I mean, have you seen some of the LED screens on some of these things? In a couple of years, we'll be playing TikTok off our freaking vapes.
I was fiending so fucking bad last night for a vape. It was insane. Just seeing, and I think just not drinking also made it even worse. But god damn, I want to smoke some nicotine. I did it for too long and got so much good tasting, good smelling nicotine vapor in my lungs. I'm a damaged boy.
You just gotta start being a fucking CR man. Having it once every month.
If I actually had self-control, I could just buy a vape here and again. But if I bought one vape, I would go instantly back to just
That's
chiefing
why
it.
I'm saying you should you should be like a cigar, man. It has to
Yeah.
be something where you have to go outside to smoke on it.
Yeah.
And it can't be cigarettes, because if you smoke cigarettes, you're going to be fucking back on the dirt hard.
Yeah, the coworkers that I work with are just ripping a pack a day easily. Some people said that they got up to 2 packs a day and had
Dude,
to cut down.
I'm telling you, you got to have some drugs. If you're working hard, you got to have some drugs in it.
Night shift at Domino's, whenever I worked there, that literally it seemed like half the workers were doing cocaine on the regular.
Why would you not be? You work the night shift. You have to be on cocaine.
How else are you going to get by?
Or Adderall, some sort of upper. You have to have some sort of upper. I don't know.
The Adderall is laced as fuck nowadays, from what I'm hearing. I watched this YouTuber that I watched who bought some Adderall illegally and almost died from getting laced with fentanyl in them.
That's everything. That's every pill. Every pill could be laced with some fentanyl now. You know it's bad whenever the fucking coke users are testing their cocaine.
Yeah, if you ever buy cocaine, you have to get it tested at this point. Fentanyl is running rampant, and specifically cocaine, but everywhere else.
I mean, if you think that a bunch of people at a Hollywood party can die from it, you can die from it. Just some jerk off living in who knows where.
Speaking of Hollywood parties, Alex Jones on InfoWars said that LeBron James is going to he's moving out of the country and selling all of his assets because he was involved in Diddy parties and because of his arrest. But then, like, the next night after that, I think LeBron dropped like 28 in fucking the arena, and just like literally nothing's happened since then. But he said, I have good sources to confirm this. Like, but I guess he was just selling like one of his houses, and he did not, in fact, move the country. But LeBron James is for sure involved in the Diddy parties, 100%.
I mean, you can't look at LeBron James and tell me that he's an upstanding member of society. You've seen this man do too many greasy things.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party.
How much blackmail do you think they had on Bronny? I bet they had him doing some dirty shit.
I bet they had everybody doing some dirty shit. I bet they had just the people. They talked to the like Hollywood stars and like, I only went to the daytime Diddy parties. Just the fact that you know that if you're showing up to a nighttime Diddy party, there's going to be some fucked up shit going on. Just that was common knowledge. You should raise some fucking eyebrows.
And there's nobody else that's been arrested so far in this operation at all. It's only been Diddy arrested so far. You don't think he was working with anyone else? He had no other people he's been in a connection with. He hasn't snitched on anybody. Do you really believe that at this point?
Free my boy. He didn't do it.
Did Diddy do it? That's what they all want to know. I personally believe he did do it, and he may have had government help to do it. Who knows?
Did he do it? Diddy did it.
Diddy did do it. And that's what we're trying to talk about this episode.
That's not what we're trying to talk about this episode at all. Actually, we've just been ranting. We're about to put a bow on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't really have any more about natural law. There is a lot more I want to talk about, but I don't know. We might have to turn it into a part 2 next week or something.
Folks, this was really just a New Year's episode. This is more just to greet you. This is the fucking year. Did you know Black Ops 2 made a whole video game about this year?
I didn't even know that was Black Ops 2 the year.
Yeah.
In the story mode.
2025, dude.
Whenever I was a kid looking at 2025, I did not imagine this is how 2025 was going to look whenever I was a kid.
And look around us, folks. Some things are going to shit. Other things, they're looking a bit up. And I think that's what we can live our lives by. Some things are down, some things are up, but I still keep walking them down.
I think the main point of this episode is to continuously question things and to try to wake up your neighbors around you, because a small group of us isn't going to make change, but if we continuously wake people up and spread information and knowledge to our family and friends, It is going to create a larger group to fight against the machine.
You've heard the spiel. Just have a good time, folks. Later.
Praise God.